Do you consider yourself to be a writer?
Yes, I do.
What are the qualifications to be considered a writer?
I think that anybody can be a writer. It's just you have to have a story to tell.
Interesting. So what would you say influenced you to begin writing in general?
I think I've always been writing. Like, whenever I was little, I would always beg my mom to use her laptop so I could go on to, like, little story websites so I could get, like, a little prompt and just write a story. And then even whenever I wasn't, like, actually writing, I was always, like, coming up with stories in my head. So I don't think it was anything necessarily that happened that made me think, oh, I'm a writer. I've just always been writing.
Interesting. So why did you start writing poetry?
I started writing poetry because I took a creative writing class, and I had to. But then I realized I really like it, so I started doing it more.
Why do you like poetry so much?
I think I like it for several reasons. I think one of them is because, like, since the whole time I've been writing, I've been, like, trying to write a full book. That's, like, a very long process. But with the poem, it's, like, I write a couple lines, and it's, like, that immediate, like, satisfaction that I've done something and I've finished a piece of work. So I think I like it for that. And then also just it was something different, and I'd never done it before. So I thought that was fun.
Okay. Do you have a favorite piece of literature that has really impacted you?
I feel like this is a really basic answer, but, like, my favorite book series is The Hunger Games because I think it's, one, really good writing, it's easy to understand, and it's just a good story to tell, and also just, like, I think it's a story that should have been told because I like that it kind of has, like, parallels to, like, real life and what it could become if it keeps going certain ways. But I just, a lot of the things that I base the books that I try to write, a lot of the, like, criteria is based off of that series specifically.
I agree. I love The Hunger Games. Do you remember when you first read that series?
I read it in 10th grade because I had to do a book report, and I never read them before. Mm-hmm. And so I picked that just because I'd never read it, and I was like, yeah, this should be easy.
Have you reread it since then?
I haven't. I finished the whole series, and then I'm currently reading the second prequel that she released since then, because she released the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and then she released Sunrise on the Reaping this year.
Okay. Are you an avid reader?
I tried to be. There was, like, 1 year that I read 50 books in 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, but then, I got busy, and I get tired, so it's harder to find time to read. But I do try to read often.
I feel you. Life happens. Mm-hmm. So what do you think sparked your desire to read?
I've always read. Like, I've always been a reader. Even whenever I was in, like, kindergarten and learning to read, I was just always really excited to read. And, like, in 3rd grade, I was in fact the kid walking down the hallway reading a book while I was walking. So I just... Only 3 minutes.
Why have you continued to read into adulthood without the pressure of assigned school literature?
I think it's nice to, like, just get into another universe for a little bit and get away from real life. Mm-hmm. And again, I've just always really liked storytelling and stuff. So I just like reading other people's stories.
So you would say, like, escapism is a big part of it?
Yeah, probably.
I agree. I love that. Okay. So do you have any published pieces?
I do. I majored in journalism, and I have 6 published articles.
Wow. So what's your favorite piece that you published so far?
Probably my first one, just because, for one thing, it was my first one. And then I also was just really proud of it. It was about eating disorders and how social media affects them. And I was just really proud of it, and I thought it was a good one to be my first article published, because I really liked how I introduced the article. I basically combined journalistic writing and creative writing, and because the first 3 paragraphs, I'm, like, describing how one of the people I interviewed felt whenever she was going through her eating disorder, and how, like, the scent of waffles made her cry because it was one of those, like, trigger food kind of things for her. Mm-hmm. So I just thought it was a good one to be my first published one.
What was the title of that?
I think it was just, like, eating disorders among students or something. I didn't come up with the title. The editor for the school paper came up with it.
So we can find those on the school website?
On the sm2media.com.
Awesome. Do you think you will continue writing in the future? And
100%.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Okay, that's perfect. And so what do you think you'll be writing?
Well, I'm working on a poetry book. I've got 50 poems finished and then 23 started that I just have to expand on.
Wow.
And then obviously I want to write books. That's my whole thing. I don't want to have a traditional job. I just want to stay at home and write my books.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any idea about what kind of book you'd write? What genre? Any storylines you're interested in?
Well, I've had a storyline for one for a while. I know some kind of contemporary one because I had a short story that I want to expand on and turn the short story into a full book. And then I definitely want to do some kind of romantic-y thing, romance and fantasy, definitely want to do that. Or even just dystopian, because again, I base a lot of my stuff on the Hunger Games. Yeah.
So what do you think about the influx of self-publishing authors? And do you think in the future you will self-publish, or do you think you will reach out to a publisher?
I think a self-publish is really cool, because one, you get to say you wrote a book, and then two, you get to say, yeah, I published it too. It's just that just seems kind of cool. Whether or not I will or not, I haven't looked into publishing stuff too much, but I have a feeling it's easier to self-publish in a way, because you're it's just you're not going through any third parties or anything. So I feel like it can be easier, and it might save money. I feel could also be a reason for why there's so much more self-publishing.
Yes, agreed. So do you have a preference for ebooks, audiobooks, physical books?
I like physical books personally, just because I like to be able to hold it in my hand. I don't know. I've also just never really been a big reading on my phone person, other than when I was reading Wattpad fan fictions, late at night, and I was hiding it under my bed. But I don't know. I feel like I'm not actually reading, and I feel like I zone out whenever I'm reading on a screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you have a preference for paperback or hardback books?
I like the way hardbacks look more, but I like holding paperbacks more, because I fear I do, in fact, break my spines and fold them really bad. But that's okay. That just makes them look well loved.
Yes, I totally agree 100%. Is there any genre of writing that you particularly like to read?
I tend to read more romance and fantasy things, but I also like murder mystery kind of things.
Is there any genres that you don't particularly like reading?
The only one that I never gravitate towards is nonfiction, just because I don't know if it just feels too much like school, but it gets really boring really fast for me most of the time, which I could have just not found the right nonfiction book, or autobiographies, those kind of things. I don't really care. I did read Jeanette McCurdy's biography, I'm Glad My Mom Died. That one was really interesting, but I think I only reached for that because she was someone that I watched when I was little and was growing up and stuff.
Yeah, I heard that book was really good.
It was.
I'm going to have to read it.
Yeah.
Do you think there were any movie adaptations of books that you think were better than the book?
This one isn't a movie, actually, but The Summer I Turned Pretty, I think, not necessarily that it was better, but I think they stuck to the books and the overall plot of the books really well, and everything that was different from the books I think added something to the plot and did make it better in a way. Movies, the Hunger Games movies I just think are perfect personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect ones. Yeah. One series I would really love to see turn into a movie is the Caraval series. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that could be I just think that's a really good story that would look really good film-wise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, do you think that whenever adapting a book to a movie, that they should stick to the plot, or do you think it's okay for them to have creative freedom and change things?
I think they should stick to the plot unless it's something the book was made a really long time ago and something would now be considered distasteful to keep in. But something that was released a year ago and everything's fine, all of the readers loved it. If it's being turned into a movie, I would assume the readers love it. And personally, as a reader, I would want to see it stay as close to the original as possible.
Yes, I completely agree.
Because whenever Where the Crawdads thing turned into a movie. And the main character, she's like living in the woods, but she looks like she has makeup on every day and her hair isn't frizzy at all.
You're so right.
That irritated me so bad. Like, what do you mean? She's like, people call her like a dirty girl. They're literally calling her a dirty, muddy girl.
I remember
and
that.
she just looks like so porcelain and pristine. That irked me so bad.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Claire.
Of course.